Welcome back, everyone, to another episode in the Spyderco series. Today, I have for you a Military 2, Spyderco Military 2. This is what they call the Crucarta Military 2. Crucarta was a term that came out for the PM2 that had the natural micarta scales. And they actually just dropped a pair of 3 in the Crucarta version. Crucarta referring to the micarta with the Cruwear blade. Alright. Let's get down to some measurements. Overall, this is coming in slightly, well, this is about 9 3/8 of an inch. Cutting edge, you're looking at 3 3/4 of an inch. And the handle is about 5 1/4 inch. Ooh, there we go. The width, looking at, let me see, 1 5/8 of an inch. Thickness is slightly under 1/2 an inch, not including the clip. Let's take a look at how much this weighs. 4.27 ounces. This is pretty light for such a large folder. And let's take a look at some comparisons to other Paramilitary 2 model, which this is the original. Well, actually, no, it's not the original Crucarta. The original was a Shaman that had Cruwear blade steel and micarta scales. Now let's take a look against that Benchmade 941. As you can see, Military 2 dwarfs both of these knives. Cutting edge, surprisingly not that much more than the Osborne 940. Let's take a look, cutting edge there. Yeah, quite a bit more than the PM2. All right, let's talk about the blade. So we got a satin full flat grind using CPM Cruwear steel. You got your made in Golden, Colorado, made in the US. And this has Eric Glacier and Sal Glacier's insignia. This is very much reminiscent of a drop point. Bit of a modified spine to it though. It's got jimping right before the thumb ramp here. It's got jimping on this side as well for the finger choil. So if you choke up, get a little bit more traction. It's got your thumb hole opener. It's not broken in, so it's not dropping freely. You've got your middle finger flick. There you go. Let's talk about the handle. So this is the natural canvas micarta on both sides. And one of the biggest changes to the Military 2 versus the Military is it's now a compression lock. There, so for myself, this is just a larger PM2 now. And the other big change is now they have drilling so you can carry it tip up. So if you swap this to this side, you can now have the blade tip up in your pocket. It's very light, but once you start using it, you'll start adding more character to this micarta, which is one of the great components of that material. It does have liners, as you can see, and there is milling in the liners. Well, there's cutouts, so to lighten it up. You got your lanyard tube right there. You got one body screw. This is the blade stop screws. You can see right there. And then you got your pivot screw. Let's talk about the pocket clip. It's your typical spoon clip, stainless steel. It's got the Spyderco insignia. The usual ramp space. Very effective in my opinion. Let's take a shot of that in the pocket. Go. So this is tipped down, and I imagine once you get this clip reversed to this side, well, this is actually the top screw of the clips holes. It's pretty close. So I would imagine if you had it in your pocket, that's how much knife would stick up if it was tip up. So doesn't take up too much real estate. However, the Spyderco hump right here, I feel like it's commonly referred to, does stick out a little bit. So there is a bit of, not as much space as you would imagine, but truly doesn't take up too much real estate. And back to one of the changes. So you do have 4 different ways you can carry this: left hand, right hand, tip down, tip up. Let's talk about availability and price point. I picked this up from Cutlery Shop, got a notification, grabbed it, and next day it was sold out. But then within a couple days later, I'm seeing notifications for plenty of online retailers that have this available. I also recently saw the Pair 3 Crucarta. So they're making multiple models using the Cruwear steel combination with the micarta scales. The price point on this was $228 and some change. I think it was $228.75. And what are my final thoughts? I did just get this in, so but to be honest, it feels very much like a standard Spyderco Military. Other than, for me, the big one is the compression lock. I threw this in the pocket, and I enjoy it being tipped down for such a large knife, because as you withdraw it, you can transition your hand over and you're already at the opening. However, if it's tip up, you're yanking it out, since it's such a large knife, you do have to, it takes more time for you to get down to be able to put your hands in a position to open a knife. First impressions are definitely positive, but again, it's just a lot of similarity from just the feel, the size, to a military, the Military 1 model, that I don't get the sense that it's a very different knife, even though they're very distinctive features, especially again, tip up carry option, compression lock. I do have a Military 1 model to show you comparison to. So let me pop this up. All right, so one right off that bat notice is there is no drilling on. Granted, this is the titanium model, but from my recollection, it's all tip down. I'm sorry, tip down right hand carry for majority of their models. I might have to take a look at the non-titanium version for me to confirm that. But if you know something other that I don't, please go ahead and drop a comment. As you can tell, it's got drilling all over the place for tip up, tip right, tip up, tip down, left hand, right hand. One of the challenges for the Military 1 is that they have, rather than using a screw to hold the blade stop right there, during disassembly, it takes a bit of maneuvering to pop it out from here. So I do appreciate that they used screws instead, so it will be easier to disassemble, I'd imagine. But when you look at it overall, if you can imagine the cutouts down here, the feel is very similar to the Military 1. So I don't think they were trying to get away from that, because for people who do carry Military, I'm sure they appreciate the ergonomics on it, but it feels great in hand, even being tipped down, which is what I'm used to. So I'll probably swap it out to tip up just to kind of feel if it's different. But lots of control. You got your choil to choke up on. I mean, if you're a fan of the Military platform, I think you'll appreciate the Military too. And if you're a military, if you like the Military, but one of the things that have kept you away from carrying one is because you enjoy your knife being a tip-up carry, then the Military 2 platform will appease to that, the specific component of a knife that's important to you. All right. Let me know if you enjoyed the video. Leave me a thumbs up if you did. Post your comments. Let me know if you have one of these in your collection. The Military 2 is not new. This specific variant with the Cruwear blade and Micarta scales is recently released. Yeah, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell button so you get notified for the next video. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Stay frosty.